Today, I'm going to give you the driving tour of the 10 richest cities in Missouri. You might think America's wealth is concentrated on the coast, but the Show Me State can show you the money. You'll get a sense of just how over-the-top ridiculous some of these places really are. I found that people in these cities don't live on roads. They live on ways, places, and drives, anchored by multi-million-dollar estates. Hi, I'm Chris Colmar. I'm the data nerd behind homesnacks.com. I use Saturday Night Science to analyze data on income and home prices for the 185 cities in Missouri with over 3,000 people. While St. Louis itself didn't make the cut, it remains the epicenter of wealth within Missouri. In fact, 9 of the 10 places on this list are exclusive suburbs of St. Louis. So start saving now, because maybe in a few lifetimes, even you will be able to afford a home in one of Missouri's 10 richest cities. We start out our all-expenses-paid tour of the richest cities in Missouri with number 10, Sunset Hills. After living in St. Louis for 5 years, I had never heard of this outer ring suburb close to Kirkwood. But on my drive down, I realized it's home to the Laramie Sculpture Park, which requires a high-minded concept of what art is. I mean, look into this eye and tell me how rich you have to be to commission it. However, with home prices over $545,000 per Zillow and the median income over $135,000 per the census, you could argue that it deserves to be even higher on this list. From what I saw, the homes here were as McMansiony as you can get, the kind of neighborhoods where the biggest drama is on next door, and everyone spies out their window on random cars in the neighborhood. In fact, I thought someone might call the cops on me taking video. Property taxes go towards the Kirkwood School District, one of the best public school systems in the area. At number 9, we have Wildwood, which is about as wildernessy as you can expect to get on this list. They might even have a problem being called a St. Louis suburb, as the rich folks here probably commute to the ever-growing St. Charles region instead. I have been out here for some fantastic hiking at Rockwood Reservation and Babbler Memorial Park, but it's not what I had in my head regarding luxury real estate. However, the data doesn't lie. Home prices here push up over $500,000, and median incomes hit a mouth-watering $157,000 a year. And that's good for the 7th highest in the state. Wildwood is the kind of place where rich people complain about how far away everything is, but refuse to move closer to civilization, even though they could afford it. Our next stop takes us to number 8, in the beautiful Clayton, Missouri, a city so rich that it makes St. Louis look like a clearance sale. But Clayton isn't just some sleepy suburb, it's where the serious money moves. The city is packed with high-powered law firms, financial institutions, and the corporate headquarters of places like Energizer, Centene, and Olin. If you're an executive, banker, or lawyer in St. Louis, chances are you're spending your 9 to 5, and maybe even your 5 to 9, in Clayton. Driving through the luxury real estate here, I realized how nice it is to have the beautiful Clayton skyline in your giant backyard. The homes here have character, size, and location. It's the kind of place where you live when you retire, but you don't want to move into a proper city. But living in Clayton isn't cheap. The homes, mansions. The apartments, luxury. And the property taxes, higher than you can afford. Home prices push up over $800,000 per Zillow, and the median income is $128,000 a year. So those steep property taxes fund top-tier public services and public schools. In fact, Clayton's public schools are ranked among the best in Missouri, and the private schools here, even more exclusive. The 7th richest city in Missouri takes us across the Missouri River for the first time to Weldon Spring. Rich folk in Weldon Spring are so rich that they have a lifted truck, but have never been off-roading. It's for those, just-in-case scenarios that might happen every other year. But with median incomes pushing $150,000 and home prices of $570,000, folks here can afford that lifted truck. While people here probably say they live in St. Charles, they think anything east of 270 is too liberal, and they don't go past the river unless they absolutely have to. So instead, they spend their time having a caddy carry their clubs at the Whitmore Country Club, or take a horse for a ride at the local riding club, because that's what rich people do in the country. At number 6, we're going to drive back across the river and down 270 to the Manchester Road exit. We'll take a stop at a rich town that really should be absorbed into a surrounding city. That town? Glendale. It's the kind of unassuming rich town that barely has any place you can use a credit card. It's where neighbors compete over having the most picturesque lawns, but complain about property taxes. With cozy homes priced over $550,000 and a median income according to the census of about $160,000, people here obsess over their alerts from Ring, even though the only thing coming into their driveways is an Amazon delivery van. In fact, after driving around here, you'd never think the people living here are that rich. But this area is close to everything and has lower property taxes, so people are willing to pay more for a house. It's also part of the same school district as Sunset Hills. These rich kids bring up the quality of one of the best school districts in the area. And after our stop in Glendale, we're going to pack up and hop onto Route 70 and make the 3.5-hour drive across the state to Parkville, a beautifully rich suburb north of Kansas City. I took a tour of the town about a month or so ago, and man was it a fancy place. Right on the Kansas-Missouri border, this is nothing like the border towns you have in your head. It's all nature sanctuaries, English parks along the river, and landing parks for the landed elite. Even the local university is called Park University. So you could say Parkville takes its name seriously. And those parks cost a pretty penny to maintain. Zillow has home prices over $570,000, and the census has median incomes over $170,000. That means you're going to need a dual income to even think about sending your kids to the A-quality Park Hill school system. Parkville turned out to be the only Kansas City suburb to crack the top 10 this year, but folks here love the perfectly small town but not too far away from the city lifestyle. As we crisscross the state back to the St. Louis metro area, we take a drive through Des Peres. And while that name may sound Spanish, it's most definitely the finest French around. People here go to the West County Mall just to browse, but leave with $300 worth of stuff from Nordstrom. And that's just on a Tuesday. By the weekend, you'll find them strolling around the ritzy Kirkwood neighborhood next door, but with an air of superiority. Before you move to Des Peres, you have to consider one thing. Are you rich enough to support a 30-foot flagpole? The private neighborhoods here have homes with not only flagpoles, but pool houses in the backyard and a carport that divides your house from the garage. I mean, here was my reaction in real time. Oh my god, this is a house! It's hard to put into words why you'd ever want or need a house this big. With the average home price over $600,000 for the first time and median incomes topping about $200,000, I bet after dropping their kids off at private school, people here head to the next place on our tour to go shopping. To reach the number 3 wealthiest city in Missouri, I took a drive up Lindbergh to Frontenac, another surprisingly rich suburb of St. Louis. In fact, when 270 was backed up one day, my son and I ended up on the back roads going through Frontenac, and we started playing a game I called, Is it a house or a church? And honestly, I wasn't sure half the time. I drove past a listing on Zillow for a 17,000 square foot house. You only buy a house that big if you have the money and you never want to see your family during the day. The biggest worry for anyone here is choosing between private school or one of the 2 top public schools in the area. To give you a sense of how rich people are here, they only shop at villages and never shopping malls. And folks in Frontenac send their dogs to canine enrichment classes while sipping imported coffee from the Range Rovers. Just don't ask them to drive west at 270. And while Frontenac might be fancy, the next city in our tour is just straight rich. We're on to the second richest place in Missouri, Town and Country. You know you're in a rich town when the town name is both the name of a local magazine and has an "and" in the middle of it. I once went to a party in Town and Country, and it turned out that the house was actually the owner's country estate for their home and the only place higher on this list. That's how rich people are here. The census has the median income over $237,000, while Zillow puts the average home price over $1 million, which seems fitting to me. I mean, come on, the copy and paste McMansions go for $2.5 million. Imagine what something with a little character would. Whoa. Some of these places just keep going and going and going. The real estate is so valuable in Town and Country that they outsource their golf courses. And the only place you can even spend money in town is a deliciously overpriced Clementine's Naughty and Nice ice cream. But man, is that ice cream rich. And now, we finish our driving tour in the richest place in Missouri. This place is so rich, they bus in kids from double doctor parents just to increase income diversity. What is this place of magical wealth? So extravagant that I felt totally out of place driving a Tesla through it? It's Ladue, easily the richest place in the state. It's on every luxury list. And I mean, I get it. You can turn down literally any side street and crash into a multi-million-dollar estate. Only the golf clubs outnumber the prestigious private schools, with names like Burroughs and MICDS, that cost more than a typical college tuition. Not to mention that the property taxes both serve as a way to limit who can afford to live here, but also contribute to one of the best school systems in the country. The median incomes here are so high that they break the census top-coded limit and are artificially capped at $250,001. That's how rich they are. While Zillow has average home prices pushing up over $1.1 million. Ladue is home to some Missouri royalty. You just need to know where to look, which is all around you. And that's our tour of the 10 richest cities in Missouri. We started the day looking at a sculpture of a 20-foot eye, and ended the day staring down homes with 20-foot flagpoles. From Sunset Hills to Ladue, these are the places in the Show Me State you probably can't afford to live in. And I didn't even show you Huntley, a ridiculous 1 mile square of some of the biggest houses you've ever seen. The pool houses there are McMansions. It doesn't even make sense. But if you want to learn more about these cities, check out homesnacks.com. We pull data from dozens of sources to help you find the best place to live. And hopefully one day, I'll move into my own McMansion in the middle of Ladue.